So today we're going to talk about two dominant ways of investing in real estate. The first one that probably comes to mind is I see a house, and then I get it under contract, and I go through all these steps, and then I have to give them some earnest money that says I'm serious, and then 45 days later, the bank gives me a loan, and then I technically have bought the property, and then I'm gonna do something with it. There's like dozens of steps of buying real estate. Your other option is investing in a public real estate fund, where in general, there's like 3 simple steps. You select the fund, you drop a little bit of cash in it, and then you watch your account grow. And it's like, to be honest, investing in real estate funds publicly is kind of fast, it's cheap, it's easy. And today we're going to talk about whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. First of all, real estate public funds allow everyday investors to access real estate without direct ownership or without going through management hassles, right? What these funds do is they pull capital together at a large scale of a lot of other people, and they put money into all their different real estate projects. You kind of skip all of the go to Home Depot and talk to tenants and see if they're going to make their payment or not. And you're just basically going right to a fund model where it's almost like putting money in the stock market, except it's available on the stock market in many cases, but really it's just investing in real estate where someone's already made it really simple and easy. And there are some different options of how you do that. First of all, there's 3 major different types of funds. There's REITs, which is real estate investment trusts. You've got crowdfunding platforms where people just pull their money together for a project, or you have public syndications. I find a project, I'm gonna raise the money for it, and all those investors are going to give me the money so I can do the project and then split the profits back to them. So it's kind of weird. I've got in my hand $3,300. This was the first down payment I had on my first tiny house. This was thousands of homes ago. And that tiny little house had a basement apartment that I rented out that basically covered the whole mortgage. And it was a lot of work. Like, I had to find the deal, I had to get it under contract, I had 2 banks turn me down. I had the last bank that let me get my 3% FHA down payment. Then the house was a nightmare. Then I had to fix it up and repaint it and make it livable. Those were the good old days where I kind of did it the old school way, and the truth is it worked. But in today's world, there's a lot of people that want to invest in real estate, but they want to know if there's a way to get bypass all the hassle. And today we're talking about how to do that with these public funds. Now, as we talk about them, whether you're going with a real estate investment trust or if it's a syndicated portfolio, whatever the strategy is, I want you to first understand that there's benefits of a real estate public fund. First one is accessibility, right? You have lower minimums than private real estate deals. If I buy this house and it's for sale for 300 grand, I either need $300,000 to buy it cash, or the bank says, well, we want $70,000 down payment. You're like, that's a lot of money. But when you put your money in a fund, you're pooling your money with everybody else. And now all of a sudden, a little bit of money is what's required to now be able to go out and participate in large scale investments. The second benefit is diversification, right? Because you can access a large portfolio across various geographies and different asset types. And it's like, wow, I put in not only just a smaller amount of money, but it's not sitting in one house, it's sitting in multiple projects. The third benefit is liquidity and returns. Some funds offer higher liquidity or frequent dividends. Others focus on long-term capital appreciation. So it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, if I need my real estate to perform, I can pick a fund where I get some performance. And it's like, boom, it's like really simple. I picked the fund, I put the money in, and now I'm automatically an investor of real estate.
That was easy.
Right? However, there are some risks of investing in a public fund. First of all, you have market exposure. So you're vulnerable to economic cycles, interest rates, and property market conditions. Number 2, management fees. Some funds have really high fees, and that can erode your ROI or your return on investment. Number 3, there could be some liquidity constraints, like not all funds can be easily withdrawn. It's busy sitting in a piece of property. Now, in today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of 2 different actual funds that you can invest in. One is based on multifamily, one is based on single family. And the multifamily fund that we're going to focus on today is Cardone Capital, right? Grant Cardone, you've seen him online, and he focuses primarily on multifamily properties across major urban areas. And his strategy is simple. He's going to buy these multifamily homes and apartments long-term. He's going to make sure they're income-producing assets and that there's some type of value-add opportunity where they can go up in value. When you invest in his fund, he has a minimum of $5,000 for non-accredited investors, and it's a higher amount for accredited investors. Cardone advertises returns targeting 11 to 30% internal rate of return, depending on the property. And that's kind of a large range, but it's 11 on the low end and it's 30 on the high end, and somewhere in between there, you now can put $5,000 or more in his fund, and now you can own multifamily with Grant Cardone. Now let's compare that to investing in a fund that specializes in single family, and today that's gonna be my fund. It's called the Kronos Fund. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I've transacted a couple $2 billion worth of real estate over the last 23 years, managing a lot of homes, and I have close to 2,000 partners that I build portfolios with. But this is my first time having a public fund, the Kronos Fund, which anyone can invest in. The focus is on single-family residential real estate, and we're buying these homes in affordable areas where we've got high growth and high demand. The strategy is simple. We're gonna buy these homes and we're gonna stabilize them for 5, 6, 7 years, and then we're gonna sell out of that market. My investment minimum in the Kronos Fund is $3,000, and the targeted returns are projected to be 27.5%. Now that's based on my last 2,130 deals between 2013 and 21, and during that 9-year study, my average returns were 60% when I bought homes individually with banks in an LLC with my partners, and using a strategy where we are at a 40% loan to value, where the house is 60% paid off, we're still sitting at a 27.5% average ROI. All right, so now you might be wondering, okay, Kris, so do I invest with Grant Cardone or do I invest with you? And is it really a question of multifamily versus single family? You know, at the end of the day, if both are gonna be passive to you, I think it really then becomes a game of ROI. Return on investment. You put a little bit of money in, what are you gonna get back? In Grant's program, they're targeting in their advertising 11 to 30%. My averages over my last 2,130 deals are 27.5%. So I don't know if Grant Cardone does 30% on some and 11% on another, but I consistently hold at 27.5% across the board. I don't have more details and information on the stats of what their actual ROIs are, but when I compare them both side by side, one of them looks like it has a higher ROI. And if it's all things passive to you, that's the fund that I would roll with. In general, I don't invest in multifamily and I prefer single family because across the board, I can always squeeze out a higher ROI than multifamily. The benefit of multifamily is that it's a little bit lazier. It's like I have a large chunk of capital and I can put it into one big project and have an on-site property manager, and it's just easier. Scaling single family was hard to learn how to do. I've gotten very, very good at the game, but overall on each house across the board, I'm earning a higher ROI. So for me, that's why I chose to stay in single family versus migrate over to multifamily. And at the end of the day, I want my real estate to be passive. I want to reduce risk as much as possible, and I want to make as much as I can. That's why the Kronos Fund specializes in this. So check it out. If you have $3,000 or more and you want to become a real estate investor today, and you want to be a passive real estate investor with the Kronos Real Estate Fund and me, Kris Krohn, your mentor, all you got to do is click the link below, fill out the information, and let's get started investing in real estate. That's the cool part, is if you've been watching me for a while and you're like, I'm waiting, all the steps, I gotta buy a home, what am I gonna do? It's like, nah, just click the link below, drop the money in the public fund, and guess what? Now you're an official real estate investor with me. Let's go. Now you might be wondering, Kris, how are you getting such a high ROI? It's because I have 4 criteria that I use when actually selecting an investment property. And if you're curious to know what my exact strategy is and why I produce such a high ROI, click right here and let me share with you the 4 criteria right now.